everyone, welcome back to 6 Mile Outdoors. Hey, we've got an exciting thing going on today. Another CVA Cascade XT came in. Okay, this one's for a buddy, and this one's in 308. If you recall, mine came in 6.5 PRC, but 308 is another favorite caliber of mine. Hey, I tell you what, we've kind of grown to love this little gun here. The CVA Cascade comes with a lot of features that are really top notch. One of the things that really sold me on this gun though is the number 5 barrel. This is a number 5 fluted barrel, comes with a muzzle brake already on it, and not that I use mine, but nonetheless it's there if you need it. Also comes with a thread protector. If you don't like a muzzle brake, you can throw that on there. But that number 5 barrel is made by Bergara, and it's really a top-notch shooter, to be honest with you. For the price point, you're really not going to find too many guns that are going to beat it, you know, in that price range. It's kind of that mid-level price range, but I'm telling you, it's a great gun. It comes just as you see it here. This is in Realtree Hillside camo. This is kind of a soft touch stock, and it's already Cerakoted graphite black, so it's going to last you a long time. Comes with the scope bases already mounted on it, and I mean, realistically, this thing is ready to just put a scope on and go, but I'm going to do a little bit more to it than that. You can see here, he bought this Vortex Viper scope and a set of rings to go along with it, and so what we're going to do is get that mounted up. But before I do that, the first thing I'm going to do is, and this is just because I want to kind of be safe, let's say, I want to go in and take these off, or at least take the screws out one at a time and put on some Vibratite, which is this stuff right here. It's really good. It's not, won't set up quite as hard as like a Loctite, but it does give you an additional level of protection from the screws backing out. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that, get all that taken care of. Once we get that done, I'm going to pull the bolt on this thing. I'm going to go ahead and take my Butch's bore shine, which you see over here, and I'm going to take the Butch's bore shine, go ahead and just kind of knock off any oils and stuff that may be inside the barrel as it is now. We're going to get ready for break-in on this barrel, and so I'm just going to kind of get the factory oils out of it and clean it up just a little bit. Then the next step is, of course, we're going to go right on into mounting this scope up, getting the rings on, getting them leveled. I'm going to take my wheeler kit and make sure the scope rings are trued up and they're in alignment. Then we're going to go ahead and get the scope mounted, get it leveled, get everything set on the scope correctly. And then, hey, after that, guess what? It's range time. We're going to put some bullets down range. So, hey, stick around. I'll go through these steps as I go along here, but I'll. Now, what I normally do is get my my wheeler kit here. I try to use some type of gunsmith screwdriver kit, because the edges are cut real well on the at least on the screwdriver portion. This happens to be a Torx head, so I'm just going to break these free and just check them to make sure everything's fine here. Put a little Vibratite on them and reinsert them. Go ahead and get them both broke free, I guess. Now, although this gun does come with these on it, you can purchase from CVA a 20 MOA rail. And the 20 MOA rail is what I put on mine. I really like that. Now, you can't see it here, but there is some oil underneath this. You might be able to see it on here if it shows up good, but there's oil under it. I kind of like to wipe some of that off just because I don't like quite as much oil sitting on the gun. It's already Cerakoted, so everything should be fine there. So I'll get some stuff and clean this up. Now, the Viper type process can be a little bit messy, but you know, for the most part, only because they're small screws. Now, what I did was I went ahead and put this back on. However, it's not tightened down yet, so I went and got my Wheeler fat wrench, my torque wrench. I've got it set to 18 inch-pounds, and I'll go ahead and snug these down here. And I'm going to start with the one back here before I do any torquing. I'll just kind of give them both a gentle snug and then do a final torque. All right, so that's pretty much set. So what I'll do is repeat this process on this one, then I'll get the rings started and see what they look like, and I'll be back. Okay, I need to make a correction. Earlier I stated I was going to torque these down at 18 inch-pounds. I remembered that's not the proper setting. I changed it to 25 inch-pounds and torqued them there. So just a point of reference. I removed the bolt, and I've also taken off the muzzle brake because I'm getting ready to clean the gun with my Dewey rod here. I've got my Tipton cleaning jag on in 30 caliber, and I've got my Butcher's bore shine lubed up here, and I'm getting ready to do some cleaning. But the primary thing I want to do is not get my cleaning my little cleaning cloth here stuck in the muzzle brake. So that's why I took that off. And people say, well, gee, I don't understand. I mean, it's a brand new gun. Why do you need to clean it? You haven't shot any rounds through it. But even though you haven't shot any rounds through it, that's what the first wipe of the patch looks like. It's got grease and oils on it that I want removed before I start trying to sight in. I don't know about you, but I mean, I kind of feel like ammo's not exactly cheap, so I want to get started the right way and not have to burn these oils out of the gun in order to start getting some accuracy with it. So I'll do a light cleaning and kind of go through here. It's not going to take much, but as you can see, even both sides of this came out with oil on it. So I'll probably run this back through one more time. Then I'll start with clean, fresh, new ones that are dry patches and go through with just dry patches and see how it turns out after that, until I quit getting any type of you know, noticeable residue on the patch. So I'll come back. Once again, is it important to just clean the barrel of a brand new gun had never been fired? Probably not. I'm just kind of that way. I mean, you can see here, this was the barrel with the Butcher's bore shine on it that I just ran down the barrel, broke up some of the oils inside the barrel. This was the second patch, and it only took 3. I mean, you can tell the third patch is relatively clean. So I just wanted to get that out of there so it's not something in the back of my mind that I'm thinking, you know, I've got that in the way of my accuracy. So I've got the barrel all cleaned up. Next step is, the question could also come up, do you have to really remove the muzzle brake to clean the barrel? No, you don't. But I was going to do it anyway, because on all new guns, what I do is I put a little copper-based anti-seize on the threads of the muzzle brake or your suppressor or your thread protector, whatever it may be on that end of the barrel, because I guarantee you, after you shoot this thing for 3 or 4 boxes of shells, it's going to, through all the heating, the expansion and contraction, it's going to tighten up. And when it tightens up and you want to take it off, it's going to be a booger to get off. So why not start out the right way? So we're going to put some anti-seize on there, very little, because as this heats up, it will start leaching out just a little bit. So you're only going to put a light film of copper-based anti-seize on here. Also, the next step is I'm going to throw a little bit of Lucas gun oil on that bolt and get it all working smooth and accurately. We'll come back when I'm working on the rings. Okay, I want to show you something here. One of the things that we're doing, we've just got this setting on here. The rings aren't bolted down or anything. It's just setting here. I was trying to get the scope placement correct, and in doing so, what I had to do was take this scope base on the front and invert it, turn it around the other way. It gave me, as you can see here, there's just a slight bit of overhang right here, but it's not going to interfere with anything for the ejection or anything like that. But what it does is allows me to position that scope where I need to be for a good proper eye relief here, and still miss this bell out here on this end. I was having to come a little too far back and it wasn't looking right. So I inverted that, centered everything back up. Now the next step is I'll pull the scope back off. I've got Vibratight setting on all the ring screws. I've got it all torn apart here. I've marked the caps on the ring screws as to which is front, which is back. They're just like this, and which way points forward on each one of them. So they both set just like this. Now that's can be important sometimes, but you'll see in a moment why I think it may be, especially if you've got a match set of rings. But these are the Vortex Pro Series rifle rings, and they're a very high quality set. He did get the low series like I asked him to. This is only a 44 millimeter scope. You can see we got plenty of scope clearance here. And you know, if there was an extra low, they probably would have worked as well. But nonetheless, you can see where we're at. I want to get this off and get some wheeler gauges up here for the rings, and we'll be back. Okay, so I've got the bottom part of the rings on. I've got them mounted where I want them. I've got them set so that they're torqued down in the right position to the right torque setting. Now I've got my alignment bars on here. These are individual pieces here, and you can't tell it probably through the camera, but in this plane that you're looking at it's pretty level. In the plane up here, it's slightly off, and I mean just if the 2 points are like so, they're just slightly out of misalignment. So I mean ever so slight. It's really hard to tell. Probably don't even need this step, but my next step is to go to the lapping bar. So what I'm going to do is, and this goes back to why you keep your rings marked, so that you know what ring goes on what end. So I've got basically the rings for the front are already marked, and they're sitting here like so, and all I have to do is put some lapping compound on them, set them on here the way I want them to be positioned. And same way for the rear ring cap, so I'll position it the exact same way. And then what I'm going to do, all right, sorry I had to reset the phone, but I've got the caps back on here in the orientation that I took them off, both facing the right direction. Once we get these lapped, you don't want to mix them up. You don't want to put the front to the back, back to the front, or spin them around, because you're going to lap them in and they're going to be true and set up this way. So usually when I'm done and I've got everything cleaned up, I'll take a Sharpie and write on the inside, this way to the front, and this one is the front ring, this is the back ring, things like that. But I've already got the sanding grit on here that comes with it, and I'm just going to work this back and forth, and I'll get a photo whenever I'm done of kind of how much material this moved, because it's going to take the paint off, you know, the inside of these. These are aluminum rings, so it's not going to hurt anything as far as, you know, the overall you know, corrosion resistance of the ring itself. I barely tightened the set screws, and just enough to get some tension on them, so I could, once it starts easing up and you can work it back and forth quite a bit, you'll want to go back and just barely snug down your screws a little bit more, just enough to add just a touch more tension, and do this again, and then you can remove it and see how much material has been taken off, and see where you know, if you want to go any farther. But that's what this process looks like. I'll get this done, cleaned up. I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, we've got all that taken apart, and we got the lapping done. As you can see here, I'm happier with where this turned out and how it turned out. You can kind of see the alignment. And we'll go back down here and I'll show you, like here are the rings. This was the front ring, and you can see the difference in how it took off material. It took it off this edge and the opposing edge. So that's where all the material came off of that particular ring. This one's a little more even on the back. You see it took some off here and here, off equally all the way around, but those were the two high spots. And then when we look at the actual lower rings that are on the gun, they look pretty even. You can still see a little bit of odd wear here and here, just like the top ring for the front, and then kind of a more even pattern on this particular one here. That's why we do this. We want everything to set level, set true, and so that's why we go through the lapping process. I'll be back with more. All right, guys, hey, we've got just about everything done here now. I mean, you can see the scopes mounted up, but to recap, what I did was we started out and I went ahead and cleaned the gun to start out with, just to get the oils out of the barrel, get it ready, lubed up the bolt, did everything I needed to do there, added a little bit of anti-seize to the muzzle brake threads and put that back on, but just very little. And then we went ahead and we mounted the lower rings. We put the, well, we took the bases off for starters, and I flipped the front one around so it would fit better, but also put lock or Vibratight on those. And then we put the lower rings on after we did that and torqued them. Then we checked it with our wheeler alignment gauge, found it to be slightly out of line and not much at all. These are the pro rings and they did real well. So anyway, we gave it just a quick lapping. Everything lapped in real fast. Everything looked great, and it helped us set our scope a little bit better. So then what we did was we came back and we went ahead and marked the front ring, or the top ring, so that you don't get them mixed up in the future. They're marked on the inside, which is front and rear, and what is pointing to the front at all times. So after doing all of that, we leveled the scope, put it all back together, torqued the rings down, got everything ready to go there. Then I took my Osprey laser alignment gauge and put it in the barrel, and we did a quick laser alignment on the scope itself so that we can get ready to go out and shoot. Now what we're going to do is we're going to sight this in with our Hornady 168 grain ELDX match bullets, and they seem to work good for some of the other 308s that I've shot before, so we're going to start out with this one in the same way. And so the next step is going to the range. So if I have time tonight, we'll be doing that. If not, I'll pick this back up tomorrow night. Thanks for sticking with me. All right, guys, as you can see here, for one, it was like 102 here in Oklahoma today. But here's where we started. First shot, second shot, third, fourth, adjusting on in. And then I just shot a 4-shot group, which that's not the best shooting I've ever done. But anyway, I think the barrel's going to come on in and do a little bit better. These are the first 8 shots out of the gun. So honestly, it's not that bad. So we'll continue moving, and this is going to do nothing but get a little bit tighter as we go, get the barrel broke in a little bit. I think after the next box of shells, it's going to start really pulling in good. But anyway, I appreciate you guys staying with me, going through this setup, and just kind of introducing you to what a CVA Cascade can do. And if you have any interest in one, hey, I've got a discount code. If you want to get a hold of me, I can give you a discount code for getting you a CVA, get 15% off. So anyway, you have to buy it through their website, but hey, contact me and I'll let you know. Hey guys, love you, appreciate you. I'm gonna get in where I can get out of these sweaty clothes and give me something to eat and cool off a little bit. So thanks for staying with me. If you like what I'm doing, hit like, share, ring the bell, do all that stuff. Love you.